so sorry about that. Well, obviously, as all of you know, this is a presentation of Italy, my home country. My name is Maria, for those of you who don't know that. If you skip to the next one. This is just general information on the country itself. So, of course, it's located in Europe. This is...
Use microphone.
Oh, I have to.
Oh, you're old?
Yeah, no, but I don't want to stay there. Okay, well, Italy, as you can see, is in Europe. It shares border with France, Switzerland, Austria, and then Slovenia. It contains two independent countries. One is San Marino, and the other one is Vatican City. Vatican City is also the smallest country in the world. Of course, for its particular shape, is known as the boot, or as we call it, lo stivale, which is direct translation. It has 61 million inhabitants and is the fourth country in Europe by inhabitants. The first one is Germany, France, and then it's the UK. And its territory is 40% mountains. If you continue, next slides, please. So this is like quick overview on politics. I'm sorry, this is like not the extent of my knowledge, but let's say the extent of my knowledge in English of it. So it's a democratic republic, and it's a fairly new one, of course. It was established as a democratic republic in 1946, right after the fascist regime. And it's a parliamentary government with a perfectly bicameral system. That means that both houses have the same functions, and the two houses are the Senate with 315 senators, and then the Chamber of Deputies with 630 deputies. The president is elected every 7 years, and currently is Sergio Mattarella, which is the head of the state. And then we have a prime minister, which is Paolo Gentiloni, and is the head of the government. Italy also has a written democratic constitution, which was officially formed in 1947, right after the formation of the democracy. I think you... Oh, no, okay, right one, sorry. Italy is divided in 20 different regions. They're independent, but they're not technically independent. Each of them has a regional council, but they're all under the Democratic Republic. The Senate of the government is elected by region, and the spot in the Senate depends on the amount of population for each region. Next one. A little bit about the geography. As you can see, there are like two mountain ranges that go through the country. One goes from west to east, and the other one goes from north to south. The one on top is called Alpi, or Alps in English. That is shared with France, Switzerland, and Austria too, and it contains some of the highest peak in Europe. The other one is called Apennini, and it goes all through the country, and it contains like smaller mountains. Sometimes they're called like hills because they don't like reach certain elevations. The country also has like one main plain, which is called Pianura Padana. My hometown is right in the middle of it. The country is also surrounded by 4 seas. We have the Tirreno, which is right here, Ionio, Adriatico, and Mediterranean. And it contains also 5 major lakes. The first 3 are Garda, Maggiore, and Como, and they're all in the northern part of it. And then the 2 latter ones, Trasimeno and Bolsena, are all in the center of the country. Italy is also placed right in the middle of two continental plates, so the Eurasian and the African one. So it's usually they're like frequent earthquakes, usually small one, of course. And then there are a lot because of this position. It has different volcanoes. The blue ones are the ones they're like under the sea level, and the orange, brown ones, I guess, are the ones that, of course, on top. Four of them are currently active, and those are Vesuvio, which is right here, and it's close to Naples, and that is also the volcano that cover Pompeii and Herculano, the two old cities which are completely preserved because of this fact. The other three are Mount Etna, or Volcano Etna. It's Volcano and then Stromboli. Those are the four currently active ones. The climate, of course, depends on where in the country you live. Of course, in the mountain you have like long and cold winters with very warm summers. In the plain, the winter are usually very cold and very foggy, and summers are very hot and muggy too, even though muggy is for the first one. The rest of the country, it's about the same. You have mild winters, sometimes with snowfalls, depending if you like live in the mountain range or not. And then summers are usually like hot or like mildly hot and fairly rainy too. In the south of the country, usually the weather is like at a constant temperature. About like winter is very warm and then summer is like very hot. It doesn't really go like too much below below a certain temperature, so it's like very nice to live in. The next three slides are gonna be like landscapes from the whole country. I try to pick pictures from places that are not really like known, or at least not as known as the main cities like Milan, Venice, or Florence, just to give you a different perspective of the whole country. This is Rio Maggiore, is in Liguria, so it's in the northwest of the country. It's a small region and it's like on the coast, as you can see. This is part of like 5 cities that are called Cinque Terre, and they're all connected with the train, and you can actually walk through them. They go from Liguria to Toscana or Tuscany, and it's beautiful. The landscape is all like this, with like houses built on top of the hill, and then very colorful and then like beautiful sea. The one on top are the Dolomites. They're part of the Alps, and they're found in the northeast of the country. And the lower one is Murano. Murano is a small island right in front of Venice, and it's actually very well known for its glass sculptures. As you can see, it has very colorful buildings and very narrow channels that go throughout the whole island. This is part of the center of the country. Assisi, it's a small town in Umbria, which is the only region in central Italy that doesn't touch any sea. So it's right in the middle of the peninsula. This is a church, and the town is built right around a hill, and the church is situated right on top of it. The other one is Civita di Borgoreggio. It's in the south of Tuscany. It's about an hour close to Rome, which is right underneath it. It's another like village built on top of a hill, and it has like very like old castles and buildings on it. The other one, it's technically not in Italy because it's San Marino. As I said before, it's an independent country, and I just place it there because I mean usually Vatican City is more like known compared to the other independent country in Italy. It's a city that it's built on top of the hill with the castle, and then all the houses that go from that down. The next slide has landscape from the south of the country. This is found in Puglia, which is the hill of the boot. These buildings are called trulli, and they're dry stone buildings with a pointy, like a cone, like a pointy roof, and they're like very typical of this area. Tropea, it's actually the point of the boot, so we go from one end to the other of the south part of the country, and it's very well known for its like water and like sand, like white sand beaches and the landscape around it. And Amalfi is close to Naples, so it's slightly north from the other two places, but it's still known from its like coastal life, let's say. This is my hometown. I'm from Cremona, which is about an hour south of Milan, and it's situated in Lombardy, or Lombardia, which is my region. It's north of the country, and it's about north and in the center. The population of my hometown, it's about 71,000 people. It's known in the territory for its musical history. We had violin makers such as Stradivari, Guarneri, and the Amati family, which were originally from Italy, and they actually opened a new museum for violins where they keep all their violins. And the city is also still has a lot of old violin makers shops, and they're still most of them are still active, and it's actually known worldwide for, of course, people in this field for its violin making like schools. So we also have a lot of people from different countries that come and learn the technique. It's also known for the terrazzo, which is the bell tower of the cathedral. You will see a picture in the next slides. Another typical feature of my hometown that it's very well known in the territory is torrone, which you can see in the bottom right. Torrone, it's a confiture of sugar, honey, and egg white. It can be crunchy or it can be soft too, and it usually has almond or hazelnuts inside, just to add some flavor. Sometimes it can also be covered with chocolate, just to make it even better. And we're also known for mostarda, which is, as you can see, candied fruit and in a mustard syrup. It's very particular, so either you love it or you hate it. There's no in between, and it's usually used to as a side for like roast or meat, just to add some flavor. And we're also known in the country with a relatively new thing. It's called basking. It's a sport. It was created by one of a physical education teacher from my middle school. It's an inclusive version of basketball. So it has almost the same rules as basketballs, but besides the two baskets at the end of the short side of the field, it has two different baskets on the long side too. And it's a way to include people in a wheelchair or like with disabled people to communicate and interact with others and actually have fun and play a sport where they can compete with each other, but also include everyone in it to just feel more, I guess, welcome. The next slide shows the cathedral of my hometown. This is the terrazzo, which is what I was talking about before. It's the bell tower. It's actually the third tallest bell tower in the world, and it's the tallest in Italy. It also has the biggest astronomic clock in the world, which is the big white circle on the bottom of it. On the right side of the screen, you can see a picture from above, and you can see the shape of the church, which has a Romanic cross. the the church was built starting in the 12th century, and it had continuous changes throughout the future centuries because of different earthquakes who damaged the cathedral, and also addition of painting inside the church, and changes also outside of the church too. This is about my hometown, but in general too. As you can see, Italian cities are like closer. I mean, everything is closer together. They're all more compact compared to like American cities, which are all spread out. Everything is usually as like at a walking distance, usually about 10 minutes. You have a store where you can go and have groceries, and it's, you can go around with the bicycle, just walk, or like have a car, but usually it's easier to just walk around the whole city. As you can see, this is the downtown, or centro, as we say it. It retains the structure of a Roman city, because Cremona used to be an encampment, a Roman encampment. So it kept this structure, at least for the central part, which is the old one. You can actually still see part of the old Roman street in some part of the downtown. They're kept, and you can see their old structure too. The old Roman street were like actually at a lower level compared to where the city is built now, because of the river, which my city is like built right on, was at a higher level compared to where is it now. So that's why the different levels, I guess. You can see that the old Roman cities had two main streets that they cross each other perpendicularly, and every other street just like came off of that. You can see a little bit of the old structure with like perpendicular streets going like crossing each other, but you also have like some new street that also are not like perfectly perpendicular. The problem with Italian cities are that every crossroad the street changes name, so it's very difficult to to remember the name of the street. So I usually get lost when people ask me where a street is. I just say, oops, I don't know, sorry. So that's kind of, I don't know, an interesting feature of Italian cities. The next picture shows also the next slides show also a different thing about Italian cities. This is the cathedral, and right in front of it is the city of the town. And most cities are like built like this because in like middle age, I believe it's middle age in English. Usually the religious power and the political power will like usually the building were built right in front of each other to kind of show this kind of this. Sorry, to kind of show this like I don't know, opposite function, but also kind of like a I can't. Oh my goodness. So they show the different powers that the city used to like live under, but it's also a way to say that these two powers came together in this place. Kind of. Let's it's the best I can do right now. Sorry. As you can see, there's a big square right in front of the church. Usually that's the center of the whole town, and it's usually the same in every city. You have the cathedral, which is the biggest church in the town, which is built right in front of let's say the biggest square of the town, and that in the past was used to as the market square, which is actually used right now too for the market as the market square, but in the past was a point of like where different people can meet up and exchange goods or just sell their own goods to other people, which is usually just the center of the life of the town. Next is food. I'm not sure if like a lot of people in the world know this, but Italy has a wide variety of traditional regional dishes. So yes, we do eat a lot of pasta, but as you can see, there are lots of different types of pasta with lots of different sauces to combine them. And the combination usually comes from the regional tradition and the regional product that you can find in that particular area of the country. So you would see a different type of pasta paired with a different type of sauce, maybe in a different region. Usually during the day, we have a quick breakfast, which is composed by a coffee, which is about a shot of an espresso here. But I believe it's more concentrate compared to the espresso that is here. So that keeps you awake for the whole morning at least. We have lunch usually, and then you can have in the afternoon what we call aperitivo, which is just, it's like an afternoon snack. Well, like a snack before dinner, you go out and you get like a quick drink with friends, and they give you like some little like finger food. And it actually, it's, I believe, from the 20th century. Usually, workers after the long day in the factory or at work, they used to stop at the local bar before they went home, just to, just let out the stress of the working day, and get a quick drink and get something to eat before they went home. So that's kind of how the tradition of the aperitivo started. The Italian food, I would say, is characterized by few ingredients, but the quality of the ingredient, it's given a bigger, like, I don't know, spot compared to the number of ingredients in a dish. If you go in the next slide, you will see some pictures of food. I kind of like group them by main dish, like first course, second course, and then dessert. Usually during like meals, we have an entree at first course, a second course, and then coffee and dessert. We usually don't have one single plate with a lot of things on. We have different like little portions. The one on top is called risotto alla milanese, which is Milan style risotto, which is basically risotto with saffron. That's why the color is yellow. We have the next one is tagliatelle alla bolognese. Tagliatelle is the pasta cut. And then bolognese is from the town of Bologna, which is found in the center of the country. And it's basically ragu, which is meat with tomato sauce. Don't make that face. This is what pizza actually looks like. It's usually thinner compared to what like the pizza is here in the U.S. And it usually has way more tomato sauce, and it has like slices of mozzarella on top compared to the sprinkle of the like very fine cut one. And then there's like minestrone, which is a soup, and it's a mix of vegetables. And usually there's no like a set recipe for this dish because it depends on what seasonal vegetables you can find in the store. So usually it varies between the seasons. And then there's like pasta alla carbonara, which is typical of Rome, and it's usually spaghetti and with pancetta, which is about bacon, kind of. Not really, but it's kind of. And then egg, so that's why the pasta it's like looks more yellow than usual. And then some cheese on top. This is part of the second course, kind of, and side dish too, I guess. On top is, let's say, collection of salumi, which is usually pork meat, and it's different cuts and different production of it, and it's usually raw, but it's very nice. It's very good, and it's usually paired with bread or like different cheese. It's like you have a cheese platter and you have slices of this meat, and you put on like crackers or like breadsticks or like other like types of bread. Focaccia is similar to bread, but it's like on, how did you say it? Unleavened bread, practically. And it differs also depending on what region you're in. Like in Liguria, they have like a thin focaccia, which is crunchier than another one found in a different region. The one in the middle, it's mozzarella, but it's a different type of mozzarella compared to what you use for the pizza. It's mozzarella di bufala, which means that it's made with a different type of milk. It's with, what is it, water buffalo, something like that. It's the milk from the buffalo, and it's usually softer and it's creamier too compared to the normal mozzarella. This is cotoletta alla milanese, which is of course from Milan, and it's practically pork breaded and then fried. The one at the far bottom right, it's arancini. They're typical from Sicily, and they have rice inside, and you can use, in the flavor usually differs depending if you want cheese inside, you can have meat, or you can have like some fish inside, and they're fried. That's why they're like crunchy and like outside. And then on top, it's a mix of different types of like little calamari, or little fish that of course are usually found on like coastal cities, and they're like fried. These are some of the desserts that we have in Italy. This is cassata, which is typical of Sicily. The outside is marzipan, and the inside is ricotta with chocolate. This is tiramisu, which is a cream of mascarpone and eggs with ladyfingers and coffee usually, and then some chocolate sprinkled on top. Pasticcini are just small cakes, or in French they're called petit fours. They're usually just like finger bites, and they can have different flavors. They can be like fruit, or they can have like beignet with cream inside, and it depends on like your particular flavor. The one in the middle is called sbrisolona, which is actually from my area. It's sbrisolona literally means that it crumbles. That it like, in fact, as you can see, if you cut, you cannot really like cut like an actual slice of the cake because it just like breaks down. But it's usually normal. Like it's not it's not a bad thing. Cannoli are typical of Sicily, and they are filled with ricotta cheese, and then you can add pistachios or chocolate or whatever flavor you want to. And the one on the bottom, it's literally chocolate salami. There's no meat inside. It's just called salami because of the shape. And actually, salami is wrong. It should be salame, because salami is plural. So it's yes. Okay, a little bit about the language. As you can see from the picture on the side, that picture indicates all the different regional dialects and sub-languages, let's call it, that are spoken in Italy. So actually, the Italian that comes to the United States, let's say, or the Italian that Americans or the rest of the world think they know, it's actually none of those. So the language that you guys know, it's the one from people usually from the southern part of Italy, because usually in the 20th century they started migrating towards the north and towards the rest of the world, let's say. So they kind of brought their own language with them, but it has more of an accent and more of like language of the southern part of the country. Italian that is spoken today, it's actually the Italian that was spoken in Florence in the 14th century, and that is due because of like the complicated history of the country. It has different populations living on it, and with all this regional dialect, it was kind of impossible for people to communicate with each other. So poets and authors started to, I wouldn't say collect a language, but it's more, they kind of started to use the same language to kind of give a unified one to the whole population. So technically, the Italian that we spoke today is the Italian that was spoken at the time, with maybe less words from Latin, and of course, as all languages, it evolves with time. So of course, you have new words and new idioms, I guess, every century, but most of it's from that century. Of course, because of its position, it has influence from French and German, but also from Latin, of course. And so the language itself, it has two genders for nouns, so they can be masculine or feminine, and the articles usually just varies depend on what noun you use and what gender the noun is. And also have, of course, singular and plural. So the word changes also if it indicates one single object or several objects. So that is kind of like the difficulty in the language, let's say. And the other difficult part of the language, I would say, is the verb. The verb changes with the person. So if it's first person singular, second person singular, third person singular, it would change. And not only it would change just the last part of the word, let's say. Sometimes if you have like certain verbs also actually change with the different person. Like the verb to have, it's io ho, tu hai, egli ha, noi abbiamo, voi avete, essi hanno. So it's completely different from each person, but of course, like that's kind of like a particular example, let's say. Also, the words are like classified in the way they are pronounced. We have different types of pronunciation, let's say. It depends on where you put the emphasis in your voice, like on what syllable of the word you do it. We have three different things. So one word can be tronca, which means that the sound is truncate. So like, and it usually has an actual like graphical accent on the last word on the last letter of the word. So this is perché. So the sound is cut at the end. So libertà, which is the second syllable of the word. And the other one, other example is parola. Parola means word, like word. And pianura is plain, of course. And last, a word can be sdrucciola, which means that the sound just flows. It slips. So, and the accent is placed usually on the third to last syllable of the word, which can also correspond to the first syllable, depending, of course, on the length of the word. Examples are tavolo. So you have the accent on the first one, it's tavolo, and the sounds after that just slips. And the other example is pubblico. So tavolo means table, and pubblico means public. We also have different, like some letters can have a different sound depending on where they are placed. So like next to which letter they're placed, let's say. So you, in American, this is pronounced C. For us, it's pronounced K. This is Ch. This is K. That is Sh. And the other one is K. So this is casa. This is chiave. This is sciare, which means to ski. This is key, and this is home. The last one is scatola, which is just box. Same things for G. So this is G, gomma. This is G with an H is like ghiaccio. It's like, there's like a bigger emphasis on like the G sound, I guess, compared to gomma and ghiaccio. You have like a more open sound. This is ñ, so it's gnocco, like gnocchi, which is a type of pasta, and it's not noti. If you say noti in Italy, they will give you nuts, because that's an actual word, but it does not correspond to that. The last one is y, so it's tovagliolo. That means that it's tovaglia actually, but it's same sound. Tovaglia means tablecloth, and it's kind of like ñ and y are kind of difficult sounds for like, I guess, non-native Italian speakers, because you have to like place the tongue in a certain way, and it's kind of difficult to describe how to, I guess. But it's I guess it's, I don't know, it's particular sound that this type of letters have when they're placed together. The last part of the presentation, it's a quick overview, let's say, on gestures. As all of you might know, I guess, Italians are known for like using their hands, their arms, and their body language to express, I guess, even more what they want to say. Some of them are like, let's see, how can I explain it? Some of them, like, you can actually also understand the meaning of the sign by just looking at the face, and sometimes the face actually helps you give the message that you wanna like pass on. So actually, we do not speak doing like this. If you do this, it means what? Like, what do you want? If you do this to someone without even saying anything, if you do like this, it's like, what do you want? What? You kind of have to like put your face to it, like it too. It's like, what do you want? Some of them are like related to, I guess, like feelings that one can have. So like, if you do this, like to someone, like this, like same hand gesture, but you do this, it means that you cannot stand that person. It's like when you eat something and you kind of like cannot really digest it. So, you know, you feel like that it's like right here on top of your stomach, right? It's like you're saying that that person is like staying right there, so you cannot stand it. So, some kind of have like an actual, like, you know, meaning or reflection of like a physical like state, I guess. Some other don't. There's also another slide with more gesture on it. I purposely took out some because some were not that nice to show, or at least the meaning was not that nice to show. So that's kind of it. Thank you for coming.
So, thank you to Maria. I feel hungry after her speech. So right now is Q&A part. If you guys have any questions, you can ask.